Hey everyone, it's TTL back with another video for you, and today, whether you like it or not, I have a 3090 Ti for us to review, take a look at and discuss about its place within the market. This particular one is on sale at Scan for just over £1,800. Now, there's obviously a lot that we can talk about with should it be here, should they not have bothered, should they have made other things. There's lots of that we can talk about. And we will do, but we will also get into the nitty-gritty of the Palit Game Rock. It is the pretty looking one, depending on your point of view. Some people won't like the crystal design on the front, others will really like it. Kind of depends whether you're after that excessive RGB kind of design. Now, when you point it down, you don't particularly see it, as you can see in this, but a lot of you out there will probably be looking at this as an option for a lot of colour with a vertical point graphics card. Now, it is very wide with a triple slot, so you are going to have to go careful with your vertical mounts, and the ones that you're probably going to want to keep an eye on using are going to be if it's mounted slightly inboard with a bracket or an adapter plate in the normal expansion slots, because then you won't have to worry about that width. But we will talk more about this. Let's get in, have a look at the card, get it tested. I've got some 8K footage and there's also some creator content for those of you out there that might be doing 3D rendering or video editing as well within the testing. So if you like all of this and you get to the end of the video, then please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all of those things, and specifically, there are internet cookies available. With the card mounted in the generic position, you can see that the RGB can make a good light show on the top of your power supply. If you had this in a white case as well, it would obviously show up even more. But you can turn the lights off altogether. One of the things I will say that's still a bit of a disappointment with the Palit cards is you can see that there are 3 pins there, and that is, and they are just here, look, that is an addressable RGB header. So technically you have to kind of plug it into your board to be able to do anything more than that with it. Now, the fact that it is here does mean you could hide the cable with your actual power supply cables, so it might not stand out as much, but I can't help but think it would have been better hidden kind of round here or even round the back, just so that you didn't have to see it. Now, the other thing is it does come with this fan out cable, and I think it's pretty ugly. But that's not a Palit problem. That's, in reality, that is a kind of an Nvidia problem, because we have this new connector. It does require 3 8-pins as well. So if you are going to be buying an aftermarket one, make sure you take that into an account. There are people like Corsair, Cable Mod and other brands that are going to be making replacement cables for these that go directly into your power supply, so that's something to keep in mind. While we've got the camera here though, you can see this, which does come in the box, and it's a graphics card support and it's universal. I've got it plugged in, but effectively what you can do is you have this little screw here which locks the bar in place, and you can see the graphics card instantly drop then, but it does all come apart, and it comes with multiple pieces. In fact, if I zoom you out, you'll be able to see better. It comes with multiple pieces to make it universal. If I do it that way around, you'll be able to see better. But it's universal. And then this part on the graphics card itself moves up and down. So you can literally put it wherever you like. Now, there's a screw mount there. There's one around the front here if you want it to be more visible. And there are a couple down the side, but they're not really going to be any good for this. And you could see that it did give me a decent amount of support as well. So that's something really nice that comes with it. I like the fact that it is universal and comes with all the different kind of parts, because there's the small one and 2 large ones. It's really nice. The lighting down the side, again, like I said, is all controlled as a part of the rest of it. I like the hexagon kind of, if you're an older gentleman or gentle lady, kind of the blockbuster design on the back of the card. I like the fact it's not just hexagons or octagons, and they've kind of looped them in together to give it more of a modern feel, and I actually kind of like that. There is a lot of aluminium and everything around the front as well. Keeps it all looking kind of tidy, and if you're of the modding persuasion, ripe for powder coating or painting, or even if you're brave and have a little bit more time, sanding and polishing. So it ticks a lot of boxes there for those of you out there that want to spend some time customizing your hardware of a weekend. Now, yes, I know you're going to say about warranty, but let's face facts, it wasn't that long ago putting a water block on a graphics card voided your warranty. And to be fair, with this one, it does actually have a warranty screw cover on this. So if you were to put a water block on this, then you'd void a warranty with this as well. Now I'm going to start with Control, because Control is a mixed bag. And it's a strange mixed bag because obviously it is an Nvidia title. So the footage that you can see is just vanilla 4K. No ray tracing, no DLSS. And the graph was a bit of a surprise because it was fairly down the pack. But we did test with just ray tracing turned on, which you can now see. And we also tested with ray tracing and DLSS, which we've brought in now. Now, both of those actually ended up topping the graphs, but it just brought to attention the fact that without all the bells and whistles turned on, it didn't perform that great. So I think with the initial launch drivers, we can agree that Nvidia have clearly focused on the things with the Nvidia technologies. A lot of the other games that I could show you have literally just topped the graphs though. Far Cry 6, for example, top of the graph. Looked great as ever. It was just it was just a cracking game. Dirt 5, again, an absolutely graph-topping result. But with Dirt 5, what we also ended up doing was, because the options were there, we could turn the resolution up to 8K. We do only have a 4K monitor, but it kind of upscales it for us, and you get crazy numbers. But what we thought would be nice was for you to be able to see 4K and 8K side by side, so that you can see the performance differences. Because it's one of those things Nvidia want everyone to shout about 4K, but we chose Dirt because it's not a particularly stressful game, but you can see that the frames per second with it on Ultra do dive. And I personally don't see the point in turning the resolution up, but turning the settings down so that you can play it. So you kind of need a game like Dirt with the higher frame rates to start off with for you to be able to then crank the settings upwards. We've done lots of other games which you can see on the website, but we've obviously done Control. Cyberpunk is another one that I have done video footage for you. Now we have the first one is Ultra, literally just Ultra as a preset. And then the second one, as it pans in, is Ultra Ray Tracing. So it's pretty much everything maxed out, one without ray tracing, the other one with ray tracing. Now you can see without ray tracing it actually topped the graph, but with ray tracing it was a bit of a mixed bag. So the Palit graphics card itself, it's big, it's bulky, it's brash. If you like RGB, you're going to like the card. When you look at the scope of the graphics cards out there that are available, it's actually not one of the extremely expensive ones. It sticks down and around the pack. We can talk about the MSRP, but at the end of the day, the MSRP is actually, it's quite difficult for the brands to actually be able to hit. And that in itself is quite a political video that we just won't go into. Now, does it have a place in the market? At the end of the day, yes, they are speed bin cards, and they are picking the silicon out to find the best ones to make another SKU. But kind of what I think is worth, yes, they are ridiculously expensive, and it's never good, and you know, there is that way to look at it, but also the 1390 Ti coming out, I think the prices have kind of kicked down with the other ones. We know that a lot of brands have dropped their prices for other cards to bring them down near what the launch MSRPs was, which is obviously a good thing. So maybe the Goldilocks product of the 3090 Ti coming out, then pushing the prices of the other cards down, was quite a good thing. It wasn't that long ago you could find a 3080 Ti for this money on the shelves. So it's kind of shoving those prices. So even if you're not going to buy one of these, I think technically they have done the market a favour. But there's the other kind of sceptical way to think about it as well. And that is, yes, they kind of have pushed the prices down and they're launching this because of speed bidding those products. But it's pushing those prices down because we know later on in the year we are going to be getting a new generation of graphics cards. So the prices going down are probably to help clear the stock that's out there. Because the other thing to remember is there are now a lot of cards on the shelves at retailers. The panic buying has slowed, let's say, because the more expensive cards are sitting around now. So people aren't snatching them as much and then trying to scalp people on eBay. But that's also because there is more stock around. And like I said, they are trying to clear the last of the cards to make way for the new 4000 series later, if it gets called the 4000 series. So that's the thing to remember. They are trying to clear the last of them before the new ones come in, because you're not going to want hundreds, if not thousands, of old cards sitting on shelves when they release the new ones, because that's then when the next wave of panic buying and scalping might happen, when people are rushing around trying to make sure that they've got them or trying to get them to sell to other people. So there's a few different ways to think about that, and that's just me expanding on the card itself. But the Palit card itself, I actually like the crystal look on the card. I personally actually like it with the RGB turned off as well, strangely. And when it's mounted in a case with other case lights, like strip lights and stuff, just catching those crystals, I actually think that's where my personal taste for it would go. I actually really like the idea of ripping it apart and sanding and polishing the metal that's on the front of the card as well. I obviously can't do that for review though, because in a couple of days this will be getting moved on to another media, another reviewer to go and take a look at it. I think the other thing that I would have preferred that Palit did with a card of this calibre and a card with this price tag would have been the power supply cable being at least 30 centimetres, so that if you did want to hide it, all the connectors, it was kind of, you could hide it out the way and it wasn't so visible. Also, with the 3 individual cables, that could have quite easily have been one big bunch of cables and then fanned out at the end. Again, just to make things a little bit tidier. And I think, like I said, with a card with this price tag and of this calibre, it kind of should have been done, because it's little things like these cables that for me make a big difference. So you're either going to love it, you're going to hate it, you're either going to hate on it, or you're going to aspire to own it. That is going to be your decision at home. I'm hoping that I have helped in your purchasing or research matters, or yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Hope that I've helped you anyway. If you got to the end, then you kind of have to say internet cookie, but this time we need an internet cookie and a heart or a thumbs up, so I know you've actually got to the end. Some people have been getting a bit cheeky lately. But for now at least, it's time for you to like, subscribe, comment, wave, say hello, blow me a kiss, all of those sort of things. But for now at least, this is the tiniest one with another video for you out. Ding! Love you, sis.